What is up, guys? It's your boy Fix It Daniel, and today we're on the bike. We got something really cool we're going to be installing. We are going to be installing our front fork suspension. So, without further ado, let us get into it. So guys, welcome to the channel. If you guys have not checked out any of my videos, please go check them out. But today, we are on my '09 Kawasaki Concourse 1400. Today, we're going to be replacing the forks on the front. I got some new ones that we're going to be doing today, and we're going to be showing you guys how to take them out and install them. This is my first time doing it, and I'm bringing you guys along with me. So let's talk about what we got. Okay guys, so this is my beautiful '09 Kawasaki Concourse 1400. I am really super stoked with this bike. This bike has been running amazing. If you guys have not thought of these bikes, please go check it out, because I know they don't make these bikes anymore, but these bikes are awesome. This is just like on the same platform as a ZXR14, even though they're still making ZXR14s. They got brand new 2020 models out there. A little bit more different hardware than this. This is an '09, but there are some courses out there that are that are newer in year. I think one guy I saw, he had a 2011. So there are some newer years, but there's no like 2024 ones. Only the ZXR14s. But some of the technology and motors and stuff like that are still kind of the same. The only difference between the two and the motor is that the ZXR14 has 200 horsepower. This has about 150 some change that you can tweak and open it up and whatnot. But let's get back on task. We are going to be replacing the two front forks. They are leaking on both sides. On this side more than this side, but we're going to just do them both while we're in there, because you got to take the wheel off and all that stuff to get to it anyway. Might as well take them all off and then take both forks. Now, what do we have to replace it? It's in that box right there. So, if you have not seen my short, I will show it to you. So, this is what we got. All right, so this is another Concourse 1400 shock. So it is straight as an arrow and it's not leaking. Actually, they look quite new. If you actually look at it, you can see the actual cylinders. It's smooth like butter. It's clean, not a nick or a scratch or anything on it. It is awesome. They even give us the top part with a fork, so that's even cool too. So if I ever have to replace the bearings, I actually have a whole entire top set. That is really awesome. So, and it comes with everything. It comes with another shaft. It comes with the plate and the horn. I have a whole new front end section for this bike before I even done anything, and this is awesome. I got this from eBay. I had been searching for something online, but I got lucky, and this guy had one that was not leaking, and it was straight as an arrow. All of the other Concourse front forks were either 1, damaged, 2, leaking, or 3, damaged and leaking. This is the only one I found at this price that was straight as an arrow and not leaking. Now, if I wanted a newer kind of ish one, I had to pay almost $700. I did not pay $700 for this. I got this for a great deal. I talked to the seller. He worked with me with a deal, and it actually ended up working out really, really good. I had to get these. So the thing was that we were planning on just replacing, we were going to get the old forks off and take it to a shop. And I'll explain to you what I was planning on doing with them. So basically what I was planning on doing with the old forks was, I had done this before I had gotten these off of eBay. I had planned on taking it to a shop. I started off with like the Kawasaki or the Casey Cycle shop, which is basically a dealership for the bikes, for new bikes and used bikes and whichever, but basically like a motorcycle dealership. So basically I was going to go there, and I got a price from them, and then I kind of searched around. I knew there were some other like aftermarket shops that's not dealer, but they work on multiple kind of bikes, different kinds of bikes, and they were cheaper. So it was cheaper to take the forks off and then take it up there. It was like $200. They were going to charge me $200 to redo these forks. The seals and everything would have been all brand new, and everything would have been redone. So I had planned on going that direction, but then I thought, like, I was having a hard time getting to that. I was trying to save up for it, and I was trying to, I was waiting for it to get to the point where it was so cold that I couldn't ride anymore, because it was beautiful weather at the time and the bike was running okay and I didn't have any issues, but I really didn't want to drive on leaky forks. So I waited till it got a little cooler, to the point where it was too cold to ride, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and go for this. But then I thought maybe I could go ahead and get them already, maybe someone's selling them, or maybe I could buy a brand new one that's already together and all I gotta do is just take them out and put them in. And that's where the research came into, and I actually ended up finding these on eBay. But I still plan on probably getting the ones I'm going to take off fixed at the shop. It's just now I have a little bit more time to kind of get it together, because I was trying to hurry and rush to get this done before the next riding season, because I really wanted to start riding. I really wanted to get this bike, you know, through its paces of riding. And the really thing that was slowing me down was the forks, because I didn't want to go into the next season riding with leaky forks and then spend most of my downtime replacing it or fixing it if there's any issues. If there's any issues, we'll deal with it when in the winter time when the bike's not riding. And now the weather is kind of nice. It's like 60 degrees outside, but the past 3 days it's been like 20. It's been freezing cold in here, and I've been reluctant to get out there and do it because it was so cold. I didn't have a heater or nothing. I got a ghillie suit, and that would have been fine. But it's nice today. We're going to go ahead and try it and do our best to get it all taken apart and get it up in there. We'll take our time. We're not going to rush. There's no rush. This bike isn't like it's my main vehicle to ride, so we can take our time with it. So I thought I'd take you guys along and show you guys how to do it, because this is my first time too. I've never really got into motorcycles. I had a motorcycle long ago. I had an 05 Gixxer 600. The only thing I really done to it was change the oil, change the spark plugs, change the air filter, and I rode it for 5 years. And I never had any major maintenance stuff that needed to be done. I didn't really ride it as much as I do this one. About the same, I guess you'd say, ride it from here to there. I never really got on it hard, never really like ran it through its hard paces. So honestly, it was low maintenance, so it really didn't have that much to do. But this one has a little bit more. You know, the forks are leaking. I had to do a few other things. I wanted to put cruise control on it, some more fairings and stuff like that. So there's still more stuff I still want to add to this. But for right now, we're trying to take care of the major thing, which is the forks are the major thing. Their clutch is good. Just change the oil. Everything seems to be okay. This is the only major thing right now that I'm really concerned with, that I really want to make sure that's perfect for the next riding season. So that's the reason why we're replacing it. So hopefully this is going to give you guys some good information. There's not a whole lot of information online about how to get these out. There's some clips of people taking it apart, but nobody putting it back together, showing you 100% everything. And that's the reason why I'm doing it, is because I wanted to show you guys how to take it out and get it back in. So hopefully I give you guys all the information that you need to do this yourself. It's really not that hard. It looks very simple. There may be some bumps in the road, but we'll tackle it as we get to it. So without further ado, let's start getting this thing off. There are some procedural ways to get this done that's not too terrible, but it is something to keep in mind that we will get to, and we'll talk about it when we get to it. But right now we're going to start by getting this fender off, and then we'll get it jacked up to get the wheel off, because I don't have the actual front kind of like jack lifter. So basically there should be one that goes like right up under here. There's a little hole eyelet, and then you turn it and it lifts it up off the ground. I don't have that, and if you don't have that, you can just use, I got a 2-ton jack here. I'm just going to lift the front end to get it on this back tires. We still got the center stand on it, which is what you want. Well, the jack is just going to get the front wheel off so we can play with it and get what we need to get off. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Okay, guys, excuse the noise. Sorry, I got a family. I got to wash clothes. You know how the whole story goes. But we're going to go ahead and get this jack. We're just going to use this 2-ton jack, and we're basically just going to get it up under there to take the weight off the front. So just find a good spot and just start lifting. You don't need a whole lot of force because it's already sitting on a center stand. I'm just trying to use it to get the actual jacking of the bike up, get it off of his wheels. So alrighty. So as you see, you just got it jacked. You know, here I'll show you. So basically, we got the wheel off the ground. We just got it just sitting right there. We used the force of the rear tire, so it's already sitting on a center stand. So naturally, the wheel can go back and forth. Normally, it's sitting on the front. As you see now, the front's off the ground. So now we can get our full range of what we need to do. So all I basically did was just move the bike back to have it sit on the rear tire instead of the front, and then just jack up the jack just to hold it in its place. So most of the force of holding it is on the rear, not on this. This is just jacked up just enough to keep it where it's at, to keep the front wheels off the ground. So now we have full range of this whole entire bike. You know, the wheel can turn, we can do everything. So that's what we wanted, because I don't have the center hole. Because if you look right up in here, you normally would put like a center lift right here in this hole, and then you would lift the front end up, and then that would do the exact same thing that this jack is doing. But if you don't have one of those, which I don't, and I eventually will get one for the front, one for the rear, but right now this is all I got. This is what we're gonna do. But it works really well, and I don't have to worry about it moving on me. So we're gonna start by getting this off. There is a bolt here, and the same one on the other side, and then there's some bolts in the back that's holding it together. But we're gonna get these off first. We're just gonna use our little hex head tool. This is a number, I believe this is a number 5. Yep, it's a number 5 right there. So we're just gonna get this off. Just start by loosening it up. So we got one here, and then you got another one right here. We'll just loosen it up. I would recommend using hand tools. Some people use, a power tool, and they'll use it to break it before they actually take it off with the power part. You can do that, but in this case, I'm going to do this all by hand tools unless I need to use a power tool. So we got that side off. Come over to this side, and then get this one off too. As you saw, there's a spacer behind it, so you want that to stay in place. And then what we'll do is when we get these covers off, we'll put the bolts here on the ground, and then we'll put the bolts back in place just to kind of keep it there. So basically now what we need to do is we need to get this off. There's a little 8mm bolt that we need to actually get off. So alright, so we take our 8mm, loosen that side, we got another one pretty much right here, same 8mm bolt. This one's got a deflector. So what we're gonna do is So we're just gonna move this out of the way and then put the bolt. So right now we're gonna put the bolt back in. Well, actually, we'll just leave it off because we need to put that down on the ground. Same thing over here. Basically just gonna loosen it. Got another deflector on this side. Then we're gonna put this down on the ground. As you see, the deflector came off with it. Put that down there. Then now we just go ahead and we're gonna pull out this cover here. Hold on. We got another little clamp here we have to get off. There is this right here, this harness piece, there's a little clamp right in here that's actually holding on to the actual fender, and then we can get it out. Once we get all these little clip holders, this little clip holders is holding on to all this that needs to come off. So let's see what we got here, see if they're easy to come off, or are we gonna have to pop them and break them. Looks like we could probably just pop them off with some pliers. Let's give that a try. Let's see if this first one back here works. So there's one right here. Just see how hard it's going to be to pop this off. Okay. Looks like we got a little bit of a issue here. Looks like they're clipped in. So, oh, okay, here we go. Oh, I see how it is. So they're kind of clipped in, like a little, they're squeezed clipped in. I don't know if I can get to this one without destroying it, but let's see. I want to try and see if I can get it. Okay, I think I know how to do it. I think you have to squeeze and pull, or something similar to that. That one came out pretty easy right there. So let me get my flathead real quick. So we got this to get off right here. It looks like you just have to squeeze it. Alright, I got it. Cool. And I didn't destroy it. Actually, that one wants to hold on to it. Okay, cool. Make sure there isn't anything else holding this thing on. Oh, actually, there is another one on this side here. So there are three. There's a little clamp here holding on to this brake line, and then there's two more on the other side that you just saw. So it's really quite simple. All you have to do is just get it under this little piece and squeeze, like push it in, and then at least one end or both will come out. Like both of these came out, and then now it's out of the way. And then as you see, it's actually like a pinch clip. So this pinch is pinched in the hole, but it's separate, like a ring goes around it and clamps in the hole to hold this in place. Now that we got this off, now we can take it out. All right. So now we can go ahead and take this out. It should just come out no problem. See? Just like that. Out. So there was pretty much a pinch clip here, and a pinch clip here. And then it comes out. Then here's your bolt for here. Here's your bolt that was holding on to the deflector. And now it's all out. Then now you get the nice exposed. You get the nice exposed area where you can now, we're going to tackle, is getting these brakes off. Okay guys, so we're back. So as I was saying, I put the screws on both sides over there, and even the screws that was holding this deflector on, I put it actually in the actual, the little piece over there. I actually tied them right back in the holes. So now we are getting to taking off the brakes. So as you see, this is the reason why we are replacing it, because it is actually leaking everywhere. It's actually, I think it's leaking more from up top. Now here's the thing that I saw on a video. Some people say that it's not actually leaking, it's because there's a lot of dirt. And that could possibly be the case. But sometimes if it's leaking up top, some people say that you can just pop this dust boot off, get one of those, there's some kind of a little flat piece of like a plastic with a hook, and what you do is you would walk it all the way around this whole entire shock. It basically, what they're saying is that you can get the dirt out, and then you leave this off, and if once you did all that and wiped it, and then you did your fork test, if you didn't leak anymore, then you don't have a leak. It's just because there's a lot of dirt and debris is getting up in there and it's causing some fluid to come out. But there could be a chance that if it's not that and you're still leaking after you do all that, then you have a leak. This looks pretty substantial. I actually was having a pool of fluid right around here at the bottom, which is where also the fitting pieces fit in there as well. There's actually a little bit of a pool right here, and you can see some of the excess gunk. And then it's also leaking. It's also leaking up top here. It's actually coming out of here as it's traveling up and down. So I think substantially that it is leaking. We could do that trick and then test it before you try it, because some people did try and do it and they didn't leak anymore. It was just a dirt from the road grime getting on it and everything. But this is kind of built up a little bit. I don't know how long it's been leaking. That's one of the reasons why I'm changing it. Now, if it was something like I just bought and then it started leaking, yeah, I could probably get away with doing the whole dropping this down, cleaning it out, and then checking to see if it leaks. But these look like it's been leaking for quite a while. It's got a lot of dust, debris on the brakes and on the caliper of the fork and everything on both sides. Here, I'll even show you the other side. So, as you see, there's a lot of dust and debris. And this one's not leaking down here. It's actually bone dry. It's just a lot of the cake on. It's actually leaking from up here. So when it's traveling, but it's not as bad as the other side. I think the other side's leaking from here, where this one's leaking up top. Yep, so that's what we're dealing with, and that's the reason why we're replacing it. But now let's go ahead and get these brakes off. So we're going to come to this side here. So we're going to turn this here. We're going to get these two brake calipers off, one on the other side, and we're going to be using a hex head number 6. As you see, fits nice and perfect. Go ahead and get those off. All right, get those bolts off. Ooh, it's got some oil on there. Could be from the brake, not the brake, the actual fork. because it was leaking down. Seems like it was leaking down there. Let's see what this one looks like. This one's actually pretty good. So, and then we just work it off. Let's see how these break. Oh yeah, I was a little worried about that. Looks like we are not real. Oh yeah. Looks like we might be due for some breaks. Got some nice scarrings in there. I don't know if you can see that right here. It was making a little zzz noise every time I break, and it could be because these brake pads are probably done and might need to be replaced. So it's either that or we'll scuff them. You can always take them off and scuff them to get whatever surface that they're making that zzz noise off and go from there. So that's one side, and then we'll get the other side off. Alright guys, same thing on this side. Just going to take the same wrench that we just had that we done on the other side and just get it loose. Like so. Go ahead and get these off here. Well, that one's nice and dry. Get this last bolt out. Okay, go ahead and rock it. Get it off of here. They look like they got some pad. Actually, it doesn't look terrible. They're not super thin, but they do got some scoring on the inside. I don't know what that's all about. We may have to just take them out and replace them, or we just may have to just take them off and take some sandpaper and scuff them. I think that might help a little bit while we wait to order some. So right now what we're going to do, take this caliper and we're just going to just ever so gently, I'm just going to stick it here in this hole here so it doesn't move. Take some of the weight off of it. Now we have this all free. Now we just need to get the wheel sensor off. Okay guys, so just like I was saying, so you don't lose your bolts, just stick them back in the holes. So that way you know where everything goes, because we're going to have to transfer these over once we get the new ones on anyway. So it'd be more smarter to make sure we don't lose our place of our bolts just by reinserting them back, if you can. So that way we don't have to take a second guess of like, where does this go, where does that go? We already know where it goes because it's already in the hole, and then it makes more sense. Alright, so now we need to get the speed sensor off. I think it's 2 more 8s. Yep. Alright. It is another 8. So what we're going to do is we're just going to undo the bolt. Alright, that one goes that way. There we go. And then just pop it right on out. Then we'll just put those screws back in place. So we don't lose them. And then we know where they are supposed to go. Now this whole entire set is off, so we'll just leave that kind of hanging right there. Okay guys, and we have ran into an issue before we even got to get this off. So you see this hole right here? This is where the sensor goes in. As you see, it goes in just like this. Fits nice and perfect, goes in those 2 mounted holes. So that's not the problem. this is the problem. So I come over to my new one. Something told me to check to make sure that everything looked like it was gonna fit. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it will. But look what happened. I come over to the hole for the sensor. There is no hole. It is completely flushed off. Maybe get a little punch. And get it as center as possible to go all the way through. But I don't know. So I'm contacting the seller to figure out where would the sensor go on this year. And it's supposed to be an 08. And I'm not for sure. This is an 09. So the shaft was supposed to fit on an 08 and an 09, but it doesn't have the sensor hole. So I'm not for sure how we are going to get this thing to be censored. I really don't know. So my only other thing would be to tap the hole, because as you see, they have the same kind of impression going across, but they milled it. They milled it down nice and flat, and then they drilled a hole and they put the two tap pieces. So this little flat part here, is not in the way of this. So the problem is on the other one is that this whole entire bar piece goes completely across, and this is all filled in. This is all milled down. They probably milled it down just a little bit to make it nice and flat, drilled a hole, and then bam, there's
So yeah, we're going to have to stop. I'm going to have to come back and figure out what we're going to do. So we're going to leave everything where it is, all the parts taken apart. We haven't really taken the shock off. I can literally put the caliper back on, everything back on, and then we could wait. So it's at a good point to where we can figure out what we're going to do. Are we going to make the hole, or are we going to return it and just take it back to the shop and have them do it? And if we're going to take it back to the shop, then we'll continue. But if we get the hole fixed and made, we're going to continue. If not, then we're going to have to put it all back together and wait. So right now we're in a position where we can put everything back together. So I'm not going to put everything back together until I figure out what we're going to do. I'm just contacted the seller from eBay to see what he can tell me about where that sensor goes. Maybe there's another bracket piece I need to get for this, because it looks like the sensor went someplace else. Hopefully it's still on this rotor, because this wheel has the sensor plate. So we need to know exactly where that went before we do that. And if there isn't a way, and we have to drill and tap a hole, well then then we need to figure out how he did his. But if not, and if this isn't gonna work, then I'm gonna have to take this off, take it to the shop, and put it back on, and then we'll have to go with that route. So we're gonna come back and continue the next day to figure out what we're gonna do. Hopefully we get an answer tonight or something like that. So let's wait and find out and see what we're going to do with this.
Okay, guys. So we're back. Same day. Didn't wait a couple of days. The seller contacted me pretty fast, even after all that. So, one, I guess it's my fault. Two, it could be the seller's fault. But really, honestly, there's really no pointing fingers. I didn't know. He basically had told me that this fork was not for an ABS vehicle. So, granted, I didn't know that. I thought all the forks were the same. I thought yes, in technically form it is. But there are some models. This fork I got is for an 08. Mine's an 09. So the 08 Concourse 14s, I guess supposedly they didn't have ABS on those bikes. And the wheel sensor, the reason why the cover is covered is because it didn't have ABS. So there's no need for a front sensor. So the sensor for an 08 concourse is in the rear. Is actually on the rear wheel. So there's no way for me to take this front one and move it to the back because it has ABS. My bike has ABS. That's why you need a front sensor. So there's some options. So the seller said I could return it, get my money back. I could do that. There's a few options. One, I can return it, get my money back. Two, I can sell it myself. Three, which is probably the one I might go with, even though the guy told me not to. But since I paid for it, it's mine. I can do whatever I want to do with it. I could go ahead and try to make the hole for the ABS. That's really all it's missing. Is basically this fork. That fork in the box does not have the holes made for the ABS. It's there. It's just covered. It's not been. It's not been milled. It's not been drilled. It's to make it. But there are some machine shops that could do it. So that's what we probably are going to do, even though the seller was like, "No, don't do that." But if I can get it to mill it properly in the hole, why wouldn't it not work? So that might be the way that we may have to go. Because if I can take it to a machine shop and have them mill that cloud down to where it's a nice level piece, drill the hole for the sensor to go through, and then I can drill and tap the holes, or have them drill and tap the hole. But I think I had the drill and tap tool for that already. So if I could just have them mill it down flat, drill the hole for the sensor, I think it's like a 1/2 inch hole, drill that hole, stick it right down in there. So we're gonna go and take it off and take it to the machine shop tomorrow and find out. So let's go to the next day and let's see what the results are. Okay, guys. So here is our result. Check this out. They did exactly what I asked them to do. They milled this down just a little bit, and then they drilled a 1/2 inch hole like I asked them to for that. It looks so good, and it goes all the way through on the other side. And as you see, we got our areas so we can do our drilling and tapping. Guys, this is so good. And I already test fitted the sensor because I can't reach all the way over there, but I test fitted it down there on the ground, and it fits perfectly. It fits right in this little cup, just like the original one. The only thing we got to do is we just got to mark it so we can drill and tap. Guys, this is great. I got to thank the guys at Craftworks. The guy did an amazing job. He saved me so much time and effort, and he did the hole. I could have done the hole probably. I had to go get a bit, but he had the tool to do it, so I just let him do it. But these two, I said, nope, I got the drill and tap bit for that. I'll do that. So hopefully it should be nice and easy to do with no issues. But yeah, guys, we are solid. I cannot believe how awesome this came out. So guys, it came out super amazing, and I'm super stoked for that. One of the things I just got to say real quick is, as a DIYer, as a researcher, a fixer, of hard tough stuff that comes my way, I've always learned one thing, and that is, don't let people tell you it can't be done. I'm not knocking the seller guy. He just told me it couldn't be done, and that was kind of like, oh really, it can't be done? It can be done. There's people like VTune, Goon Squad, B is for Build. There are tons and tons, Vice Grip Garage, there's tons and tons of people who have done weird DIY stuff that just thought was not going to work actually work. So there's always a will, there's always a way. Just think outside the box, take a step back, look at it, figure out, how can I make this work? Now, there are some times that you just can't make it work, whether it be material limitations or you just plain can't do it. But most of the time, it's normally just a little bit of a disruption, because most of the time, anything is possible. Anything can be done if you think about it and figure a way of getting it done. Sometimes you can reinvent something that's totally different. So don't feel like you bought something and it doesn't fit. It does fit, but it doesn't fit because you're missing a hole for something. If you can make that work just by drilling that hole, then drill that hole. Take it somewhere. Take it to a shop. Take it to a machine shop if you don't have the tools, which I didn't. So I knew a machine guy that would do it, and that's what they do. And then I paid and had it done. So, but if you have the tools to do it, then do it. Even if you use basic power tools, that'll work just fine if you know how to do it right. So just don't limit yourself to, thinking that it can't be done. Because sometimes it can and sometimes it can't. Sometimes it's just out of your reach or out of your ability. And maybe it might be too much money to do it. And that's understandable too. But definitely just try before you give up. That's just my 2 cents. Don't give up on something, and don't let someone tell you it can't be done until you have verified that it cannot be done. If there's some project that you're trying to do, if you don't know anybody, try to find somebody, pay somebody to do it. Or if you just can't do it, or there's just way too much money to do it, then obviously you got to figure out another alternative. But just don't give up. Always try to get the job done so you can move on with your project build or whatever you're just trying to fix. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, guys, so what we're pretty much going to be doing right now is we are going to get this piece on the little sensor. We'll set it up somehow, so that way I can get my markings, and then we'll do our little tap with my little punch, so that way I know where my holes need to be made, and then we'll start commencing on drilling. So let's go over it and try to see if we can get these markings. All right, guys, so it is the next day. I did something last night, but my camera didn't have enough power, so I kind of did it off camera. But I'm going to show you guys what I did, and it came out super awesome. I can't believe how awesome it came out. Let me show you guys what we're talking about. Okay, so you saw, this is the one that I got from the machine shop. I went on ahead and drilled and tapped the holes. They came out awesome. So let's take the screws out of here and show you. Yeah, they came out amazing. I went on ahead and did it. Sorry, I didn't do it on camera. My camera didn't work, and I was getting a little antsy with it. It was cold. It was freezing cold. It's still cold. It's like 20 degrees. So basically what I did was I put the sensor in the hole, and I just used my normal punch tool to punch the hole. Punch, no big deal. It was really simple. I got it nice and set, and then I used my little drill and tap kit, which is this right here. I basically used this drill set, this DeWalt with a 6mm to 1 tapping bit, and then a 9 drill bit. So here's the 9 drill bit I used. Pretty simple. It works really great, especially when you use any kind of lubrication. I just used some Jack oil that I'm not using, and that works great as a lubricant to help cut. It doesn't really matter as long as you got some kind of oil. It'll do its job. And then I just had it. Don't know where I put it at though. My tapping tool. So I use the tapping tool, which I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. And then here's the tapping tool I use. This is the it's upside down. See if you guys can see it. It's a M6 1.0, and simply go right in there, make your tapping tool. Use my little wrench on the end. Put some more lube on it. Boom. It is nice and done. The holes are going to line up perfectly. So now this sensor will now fit perfectly right in here. This is the one that I just took off out of the box, because as you see, the old one is still on. So now you can tell that I basically just took that off and got it right here. So what we're going to do before we put that on is we're probably going to coat it with something to keep it from rusting, because now it's bare metal. It's bare aluminum, and I don't not plan on riding in the rain, but just to keep that from covering over, we're going to try and keep it like this one here. As you see, this one here has got a nice little coating on it to protect it. So all we got to do now is get the some kind of coating, whether it be black or whatever, because the sensor is going to cover it. So that way when we spray it, it'll keep this from getting rusted, and we have to keep polishing that. So we'll put something on there to keep that from rusting. I think I do got some black primer paint that's actually for rusting stuff. That'll might take care of that. I don't know if I have any of the same kind of matching color, but it should be perfectly fine, especially if I just tape off the area and then spray it black. Should be perfectly fine. So we keep that from rusting. But yep, so now we can move forward with this build, this fix, and we can start getting our forks and wheels off. Woo! Alright guys, so I just wanted to finish this all up. So now this thing is completely all nice and painted so we can protect it and keep it from rusting. I even did the hole on the other side as well. So this is all nice and painted. And I can take all this off now. Hopefully this comes off all one together. It should. Not a bad job, huh? Looks really, really good. I'm gonna flip this over. Sorry, we'll get this off here. Cool. All right, guys. So now we got it nice and painted. I was really worried about that black paint that was going to work, but this is some rust paint that I sprayed on there to keep it from rusting, because it is bare metal, and even the other one, the old one, is painted black too to keep it from rusting. So I think I did a pretty good job of not getting it all up there. It looks really, really, really good. I just can't get over how good that came out, and I taped it off nice and good. So now we can move on. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get this wheel off. So we're gonna start by loosening up these bolts here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it out. We're gonna use our number 6 little hex head bolt. I'm gonna start by breaking these off. Make sure they're nice and seated. So when you let go of these pinch bolts, they actually do come loose. That's all you need. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and get this nut here off. Let's get you guys a little closer so you can see it. All right. So now I have one of these nice little step down. I guess it's called little hex head tool. So it's a 22. See how it fits in there. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna break the thing off. So here we go, in and lift. Oh, that's actually wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. All right, now we're going to go to the other side and break the other pinch bolts so we can slide this out. All right, we got these we got to break off. Just give it a good lift. Make sure they're nice and seated so you don't strip them. Get a nice good looseness. That's pretty good. And then now this whole entire piece should come out. This should stay right in here. So we'll just hold it. And there it goes. So here's the nut. And we'll hold it so we can get the shaft out. All right, and just like so. So we got some wheel spacers here. So we will, make sure that you keep them on the right side, one on one side, one on the other side. So I'm going to put mine on like that, so that way I don't lose it. Take the other ones off, put that over there. And now we're going to check and see if it's leaking. Looks pretty good. Check on this side. Looks pretty good. It's like it's just nothing but grease. I don't feel any grindings, so I think we got a nice good seal. All right, guys. So
I know we have spacers on each side, and I figured out an idea so you don't lose, because I mean, they're pretty much the same, but you want to put the right side with the right side. So what I'm going to do is, just to keep it together, is I'm going to take some zip ties, and I'm just going to put it not on this part, but I'm going to put it down here. So we just get the zip tie through, and then we'll just zip it in place. So that way we don't lose which side. And I already know which side is which. The one that's greasy is the side that's on that side where it was leaking more, and this one isn't. And also my weights is on this side of the motor instead of the other side of the motor. Okay guys, so now that we got that off to the side, now we can go ahead and start focusing on getting up in the axis to get these forks out. It's really not that much more, just this little flat panel. We got some two pinch bolts holding up top in the middle, and then two up top, and then they just come right out, replace them. We'll be rocking and rolling. So let's go ahead and start getting those out. Okay guys, we're back. So now we got to get the horn and this little piece out the way. There's 3 bolts. There's one right here behind this cable. There's one here, and there's one here. Take that out, take this off, it gives us access to these little clamps up here. There's 2 bolts. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get these off. I already got them loosened, but yep, just these 3 right here. So we're gonna take this one out here. Looks like they got some all right, so we got this one out. We got 2 more. And put them down here. And then there's one more behind this cable here. I'll have to pull it up to get it to it, but it's not no problem. Oop. All right, so now those are down. So now, as you see, the horn is hanging. We're probably gonna have to take that off because I believe that is in our way as well. And then we got this cover piece here that just comes right on out. So you just take it, slide it, and there we go. We turn it over, and then here is our horn. So actually, this is actually not going to be too much in the way. So we could actually leave that hanging. That's actually not going to be much in the way, so that should be fine. It's got a little clip here, right over here, but the horn's not in the way. If we were taking it off completely, then I would just slide them on out, but they're not. We're not going any further than where we're at right now. So I think I can get to my screws here. We'll try and see if I can get it without having to take this cover piece off. So let me see what size that is up here. I think it's a 10 again. Yep, it's another 10. All right, so let me go get my other tool, and then we'll see if we can loosen these bolts up. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get these 2 undone, and then there's 2 more over here. So it's like a 10 millimeter. So hopefully this will work. This should. Okay, maybe not. Okay. So I think this is one of the things that... Oh, I got it. Okay. This is one of the crucial things that needed to be done, which was breaking these bolts. One guy had stripped his, so
it is quite tight. I gotta figure out the torque on these bad boys because those were on there. Those were definitely on there, y'all. So I'm not for sure how tight they need to be, but I'll try to look up the specs. Hopefully I can figure out what it is. But nevertheless, it's undone. I just have to get the rest of it off. Okay. But it's a 10, so let me see if I can use a big boy. All right, so now we'll get this side. No problem. Oh, never say never. Oh, shoot. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. How in the world? I spoke too soon. Wow. Right when I said that, I spoke too soon. That don't look like that went on there. Nope. All right. let me get in there so I can look at this, make sure I'm doing this right. Hang on, we'll be right back. All right, guys, so it's been a few days, and I had to stop on the bike because I tried everything to get that nut off, and I couldn't do it. I've tried everything, all those tools that you normally would use to get a rounded nut off, still wouldn't come off. So yeah, I pretty much trying to research to figure out what I can do. Some people said you could weld a nut to it. Some people have used industrial epoxy, metal epoxy. That seems to work pretty good, heard. So there's a bunch of things we need to try to get this nut off. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this nut right here is pretty rounded, as you can see, where this is the bottom one, nice and squared off. You see how rounded it is? I've been trying to use every method I had in my shop to get this thing off. Round extractors wouldn't work. It just would spin. It's just too rounded. So the only thing is to get a nut over that nut, and some people said weld it to it, or get some kind of like baking soda and super glue, or some kind of a metal epoxy that will hold and be strong enough to get that off. All it needs to do is snap right off, and then we'll, not the head, but just unsnap it from the metal contact, so that way it can be released just like this one, because all four of them did the snap. Only problem is this one didn't snap. It just rounded, so it didn't even get a chance to snap off. So I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of tactic to get that off, which is why I need to stop and research. I did that off camera because I just didn't have the time to film, fail. So basically we are going to end this video right here. In the next video, part 2, this is going to be I made this into a part 2. We will try to see if we can get this off with those other tactics. If not, we're gonna have to go with the third one, which I don't want to do, and that's to take off the steering column. I don't want to go that route. I feel like one nut is not going to stop me from getting this thing off. So if it does, if it fails, if I fail, at least I tried. At least I didn't say, well, I could have tried this, but I didn't try it. So we're going to try everything we can think of before we do the steering column. Like I said, we still got plenty of time. I mean, yes, you could ride your bike in the winter, but it's not riding season yet. We still got some good time to get this taken care of. So that's why I'm not going to rush it. I know this would have been a short video if everything had gone like it was supposed to go, but it didn't. And, you know, things happen. It's not like I didn't get the nut on there right. It just rounded. Just like I was just getting all 3 of them off. And right when I was saying we're getting pretty good, I hope this one doesn't round, and it rounded. And I've seen people in other videos trying to get these shocks off, and they end up rounding their nut. And they had it on there nice and tight. Mine was on there nice and tight, just like the rest of the 3. And then this one just happened to round. So, but we're going to try and get it out. We're going to try and figure it out. But I'm going to have to do this off camera. And then once I figure out the way of getting it off, then we'll come back. But guys, that's it. I thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is a good information for you guys. I was trying to do this video because no one's done it before. There are some videos out there, but people are just doing half videos. I wanted to do a full take apart and put back together, issues you run into, all that stuff like that. So yeah. So stay tuned for part 2 of this. We'll come back once we figure out how to get this nut off, if we successfully get it off, and we'll go from there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the love and support. You guys have a good and blessed day, and I'm gonna see you on the next fix. Until then, peace.